Hey everyone, it's Nicole. Today I'm here to talk about a very serious problem. During my booktubing career, and that's watching and participating, I acquired quite a few unfinished series, and I believe you can also relate to this issue. You didn't even finish this one great series that you're reading right now, and some outrageous person on the other corner of the booktube is telling you that they found another, and it's wonderful, it's even better that you're reading right now. So you jump on other series, on other bandwagon, and you read this series, and then there's another person who's recommending you another series, and here you are jumping from one series to another and never finishing anything. What can we do about this problem? Let's be practical. We cannot not watch booktube, and we cannot not go to Goodreads, so we have to resolve it somehow. And I found a way. It's real simple. Basically, I'm going to prioritize some series and ditch some other series that I don't feel like reading anymore. Without further ado, let's start with the series that I'm planning to ditch. The first series is actually not that long, but it's not as good either, in my opinion. It's Aeona by Alison Goodman. I know that a lot of people loved it when it came out, but I think at that point there were not a lot of young adult fantasy in general. The second book of the series is called Aeona, and I considered reading it. I even gave the first book 4 stars, although now I think it deserves only 3 from me. This series is very predictable. I'm pretty sure that I know what's going to happen in the second book, so is there a point for me to read it at all? Also, I didn't like the ending of the first book, but for some reason I still was undecided if I wanted to read the second book. So I basically postponed reading it, and at this point I think 2 years passed and I still didn't pick up this book. Maybe because I'm just not interested, you know? So I think I'm going to ditch the series, and I'm not feeling really sad about it. For disliking next series, I was already burned before in the comments of my own videos, which was completely unnecessary, because if you like these books, please read them. I cannot say to you to not read them, so really there's no need to be aggressive in the comments. This series are Percy Jackson series by Rick Riordan. For me, they read a bit juvenile and I'm not very excited to continue. The characters are 12-year-olds and the plot is very action-packed. Too action-packed in my opinion. There's not a lot of description in it, and I usually prefer my fantasy to be descriptive. So I didn't get this type of thing from this book. And I didn't connect to the characters either. So despite it having a great concept, I didn't see what other people see in this book. I was on the fence if I want to continue with this series, and people actually recommended me to read other series by Rick Riordan where the characters are older. So maybe I will read those series and not this one. Another beloved one, for the reasons that are unclear to me, the Lunar Chronicles series by Marissa Meyer. I hated Cinder. I didn't like this book. Despite it getting some representation points from me, the plot and the storyline wasn't that interesting. Basically, I knew what's going to happen from the first page of the book. I'm over dystopian plots in general, and Cinder had very dystopian plot points. For example, the illness, which basically was a major plot point in the book. It wasn't a very exciting book for me. I had to push myself to finish it. I find the concept creative, but the delivery didn't wow me, so I don't have enough motivation to finish the series. The first book in the next series was read by a lot of people, but I'm not sure if anyone read the second and third book in the series. It's the Animated series by R.R. Torr, and the first book is The Girl in 6E. I was just very disappointed by the ending. It felt to me unrealistic, and I was very confused by the character development because it didn't seem realistic as well. Basically, it's about a cam girl that didn't leave her house for a very long time because the moment she sees people, she wants to kill them. Sounds great, was great while it lasted, but at the end of the book I was demotivated to read the second one. The next one I'm actually sad about. It's a graphic novel series named The Stone Keeper by Kazuo Kibushi. I heard a lot about these graphic novels, that they are whimsical and fun and fantastical and great, and when I read the first volume I didn't feel it. I didn't really like the graphic style and the plot as well. For me it read a bit too childish and I couldn't connect with the characters. Some of the events of the story felt underdeveloped developed for me. For example, when the kids lost their father, it's not a spoiler, it's basically how the volume starts. I couldn't connect with it because I didn't feel the pain of the characters. Alright, that's all the series that I'm happily ditching, and now let's get to the ones that I'm prioritizing. The first series that I needed to finish last year, because I started the series last year. It's a Girl, Fire and Thorn series by Ray Carson. I enjoyed first two books, the first book more than the second book. I'm really into the characters, into the plot, into the story, into the setting. It's set in a Latin-inspired world, and it follows a plus-sized Latina who's a chosen one. The character development that she goes through in those two books is out of this world. I read two first books. It's a trilogy, so I really need to finish the third one. The next series is Daughter Smoke and Bone series, and I actually bought the third book because I knew that I find it hard to pick up fantasy books as ebooks for some reason, always. So I picked up the third book in hopes that it will move the progress along, and I think it will. I've heard great reviews of the third book, and in general I really loved the series. Every book was a surprise for me, every book entertained me. It's about a girl who somehow is tied to a world of chimeras. I'm not going to spoil anything else, because I feel like this book is better perceived when you don't know anything about it. Basically, what really draws me to it is great characters, great friendships and relationships, the size of it, and I'm meaning not the literal size of the book, but the grand scale of this world, the world building, and the amount of characters that are included in it. Not only the protagonist and her friends, but also the background characters. I also enjoyed the fact that this book is actually set in Europe and not in America, because a lot of American fantasy books obviously are set in America. This was a little bit different. The scenery also is great. So I just need to finish the third book and I will be done. The next series that I'm really in love at the moment is The Angles for a series by Matt Stranderberg and Sarah B. Elfgreen. It's the first book of the series named The Circle. I actually read the first two books, The Circle and The Fire, and I need to finish the third book named The Key. When I started reading this series, I didn't know how much I'm going to love them, and if my input is going to make more people read it, I'm going to be a very happy person. It follows 6 girls. Actually, in my wrap-up I said 5, but it's actually 6 girls. I'm not good at math at all. Anyway, it follows 6 girls that start developing powers after a suicide of their classmate. They are discovering that they are witches and that they are powerful and that they need to build a circle to protect the human world from demons. I'm absolutely in love with the series right now, so I want to read it as soon as possible, because I'm afraid that I'll grow disinterested if I'll make a break, or that I'll forget some parts of the plot that are important. It always happens when you make a break. Don't make breaks, people. I'm just very connected to these characters and I care about their relationships, so I need to read the third book. The Queen of the Tearling series by Erica Johansson is the next on my list. I've read the first book. It was slow progress at first, the book is quite dense, but I really liked it in the end and I am eager to continue. Obviously, I wasn't as eager then because I didn't pick up the second book when it was time to pick it up. So now when the whole trilogy is out, I really need to step up my game and read whole 2 last books. And the last series that I want to focus on is Snow Like Ashes series by Sarah Rush. I loved the first book, just adored the first book. There's actually a review of it somewhere on my channel, I'm going to link it. I loved everything about the protagonist, I loved the dynamics between the characters, and I thought the concept was quite creative. But I was disappointed in the second book because suddenly there were so many young adult cliches. I didn't really like it, obviously, because I'm not a big fan of young adult cliches. They're called an ugly word cliche for a reason. So now I'm left with the third book and I really want to finish the series because I invested so much time, and maybe the third book is going to be on par with the first one. Anyway, that's all the series that I want to finish and all the series that I'm ditching this year. And I suggest you to do the same thing if you're struggling with the same problem. In the comments down below, write 5 series that you're going to continue with, and 5 series that you're ditching, and dedicate yourself to it. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it helpful. I'll see you soon in my next one. Bye!